Hey folks, here I am. I'm in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, at the Western Development Museum. Their location here has the theme of transportation. Now join me as I head into the Aircraft Gallery. Aircraft Gallery. Since time began, there have been those who envied birds, their graceful soaring flight, and said, "If I could but fly." This is the story of those men and women, how they learned to fly, and the remarkable things that have happened since. Airplane engine. 1940, Rolls-Royce Merlin instructional model, type used in Spitfire fighters during World War II from 1939 to 1945. There's a Rolls-Royce, picture of a Rolls-Royce Merlin, which was operated by one of those engines. Soaring Wings and Wind, the Meade Challenger C3 glider. Interesting gliders grew rapidly during the 1920s and 1930s, especially in Western Canada. The Weber brothers of North Battleford were quick to recognize the thrills of sport and experience the pleasure of soaring like birds. 1927, Fred and Charlie Webb were instrumental in organizing North Battleford Glider Club, the first of its kind in Canada. Third brother Albert also became a glider enthusiast. This Meade Challenger C3 design, constructed of Sitka spruce and doped fabric, was built by Fred and Charlie Webber. It was completed in 1932 and was used by the North Battleford Glider Club until 1939, when the group ceased to exist. Some old airlines used to be around. Western Canada Airways. Some of the equipment here. The Curtiss JN-4D, or Jenny, was a popular early aircraft due to its availability through war surplus. These models represent two Saskatchewan airplanes, which were the first registered aircraft in Canada. The year was 1919. Now, isn't that cool? Another airline that used to exist here in Canada. I am in the Aero Gallery of the Western Development Museum in Moose Jaw. Airplane engine from 1929, an instructional model built by de Havilland. Franklin airplane engine built by Air-Cooled Motors of Syracuse, New York. De Havilland Gypsy 1 engine, a four-cylinder air-cooled engine developed 100 horsepower. The Gypsy was manufactured in England between 1926 and 1934. Over here we have the Aeronautica K, 1937, first used at Saskatoon by the local flying club to train pilots. Over here, we have the Vickers Vette airplane, not a boat. Vickers Vette airplane, commonly called a flying boat, that flew Saskatchewan's northern skies. Well, we're back. Sorry, we had a disconnect there. We'll see if it's going to do that again. Here we have a boat, but here we have, right here, Vickers Vette airplane, not a boat. It's all that's left of a Vickers Vette airplane, commonly called a flying boat, that flew Saskatchewan's northern skies in the late 1920s and early 1930s. No complete Vickers Vette has survived anywhere in Canada, although the remains of three others have been recovered in other provinces. The Vickers Vette looked like a boat with wings. The biplane had a wooden hull and an open cockpit designed for short takeoffs and landings on water. And that's all that remains of it. They're raising funds here. Right here, they're raising funds. It says, consider a donation. This is the front hall portion of a Vickers Vedette flying boat. This aircraft was used in northern Saskatchewan in the 1920s and 30s for forest fire work. Your donation will help the museum build a replica of a Vickers Vedette flying boat. Well, you know, I helped this museum get the 101 up and running, so I might as well throw some coins in here and help them get this boat going. Or airplane, I guess it's called, the Vedette flying boat. Over here we have the fire patrols. Every day the fire patrols headed out from Ladder Lake, one to the east as far as East Trout Lake, one northwest to La Crosse, and one north to Lac La Ronge, then west to Pine House. For the forest fire spotter, the ride was like sitting in an airborne kayak. The pilot sat behind him, closer to the roaring engine. When they spotted fire, the crew radioed its location to the base. Vintage Aircraft Restorers, the Western Airplane Company. This is where they restore the planes that'll be put on display here at the Western Development Museum in Moose Jaw. What we have here is a demolition bomb, a personal bomb, watering cans, another personal bomb. And here is the twin-engine advanced trainer, also used to train observers and bomb aimers, a British design. Other models designed and built in Canada, two Cheetah 1X engines of 320 horsepower each. Let's get a closer eye view. There they train sharpshooters there back here, the bomb droppers out the back this hatch. Setup looked like an old airplane hangar. And here we have the Harvard ML4, two-seat advanced trainer, American design, manufactured in Canada. It was trainer for the British Columbia Armed Trained Personnel, 1940-1945. It had a cruising speed of 140 miles per hour. This hall is dedicated to Donald J. O'Hearn and the Vintage Aircraft Restorers in recognition of their outstanding dedication and commitment in the preservation of Saskatchewan aviation history. Through the continual leadership of Donald J. O'Hearn, the restoration of aircraft number 7829 Cessna Crane aircraft Avro Anson MK1 number R925 was accomplished. Presented in May 1992. Old military Jeep, which was used to, Willys Overland Jeep, 1946. It was used to get military personnel out to the planes to prepare them to fly off to protect our great lands. CF Sam. Nordoon Northman, built in 1946. CF Sam served with the Saskatchewan Air Ambulance from 1946 to 1950. Stinson 108-1. a Cessna 195 airplane, a North American first. Saskatchewan's publicly funded air ambulance service was a first in North America and perhaps the world. To a province with a scattered and isolated population, where roads were often impassable because of snow or mud, the air ambulance offered a lifeline. The air ambulance service flew its first mission on February 3rd, 1946. Here we have a 1959 IHC Travelall ambulance. Big Bang, it started in 1959 with a big bang in front of a big crowd when Prime Minister John D. Baker set off hundreds of kilograms of dynamite. The explosion marked the official beginning of one of Canada's biggest construction projects. The idea for a dam on the South Saskatchewan River predated the formation of the province in 1905. Devastating drought during the 1930s made the need more urgent. Preparing for an emergency. With hundreds of workers on the construction site, accidents were inevitable. To be ready, the PFRA bought 1959 IHC Travelall station wagon for use of an ambulance. The first trip was on November 3rd, 1960, when a dam construction employee was taken to a Saskatoon hospital. There you have it. Some of the air ambulance history of Saskatchewan, military history of Saskatchewan, and the restoration in the Airplane Gallery of the Western Development Museum.